A major shift now in the campaign for Senate this year, just 40 days before the primary. Governor Janet Mills announcing this morning she is suspending her Senate campaign.
Governor Mills has spent most of the last 40 years in one public office or another. And while she says she still wants to serve the people of Maine, the decision was all about finances. In a post she shared to social media, Mills writes in part, quote, "While I have the drive and passion, commitment and experience, and above all else, the fight to continue on, I very simply do not have the one thing that political campaigns unfortunately require today, the financial resources," end quote. The numbers just in TV ad spending bear out that determination. We first reported earlier this month that the Mills campaign had ramped down spending on advertisements and spent nothing at all in the 2nd District. A recent check of the numbers shows that since early April, the Plattner campaign has spent significantly more than $300,000, while Mills' campaign hasn't put out anything new. Now, her decision helps clear the path for first-time candidate, oyster farmer, and military veteran Graham Plattner to likely win the Democratic nomination.
He is holding an event in Lewiston right now, and that's where we find our Phil Hirschkorn tonight. Hi, Phil.
Hey there, Brian and Amanda. Yes, Plattner's here in Lewiston to hold an event with the Maine People's Alliance, one of the leading progressive groups, political activist groups in the state of Maine. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. But for sure, Mills' surprise announcement clears the path for Graham Plattner to be the Democratic Senate nominee to face that 5-term incumbent this fall. Joined by state legislators who've endorsed his campaign, Graham Plattner said Governor Mills' decision brings him closer to his goal, replacing Republican Susan Collins in the U.S. Senate.
I look forward to working closely with her between now and November to do just that, to defeat Susan Collins and turn this seat blue again.
Plattner contends the Senate campaign isn't really about him.
It's about a movement of working Mainers who are fed up with being robbed by billionaires and the politicians who own them. We are now taking back our power. That we can't do this because the parliamentarians said so.
The power and organizing potential the oyster farmer and military veteran has felt brewing at his 63 mostly packed campaign town halls around the state.
We need people who work for a living in places of power because we are the ones who know the daily struggles of the system we are living in.
The Maine Democratic Party called Mills a trailblazer as Maine's first woman governor, attorney general, and district attorney. But the governor said she didn't have the financial resources to compete. Plattner's raised more than double her campaign contributions. Collins has 10 times her cash on hand. In Washington, the senator told CNN,
"I'm sure this was a very difficult decision for Governor Mills, and I wish her well. She has devoted her life to public service."
The third Democrat on the June 9th Senate primary ballot, David Costello, said Mills has been an excellent governor, and I wish her well. Regarding my own campaign, I have no intention of dropping out. Well, I'll tell you this, we were getting ready to host a big debate next week with Mills and Plattner and Costello, and we're just hearing on the scene in Lewiston from the Plattner people that they're going to back out of that debate and probably all of the primary debates they were planning, which is disappointing, of course, for us and some voters. As I said at the beginning of this report, Plattner is inside the Maine People's Alliance, having a town hall of sorts. We weren't allowed in because since the Mills announcement, they had a surge of interest in people attending. They're worried the fire marshal is going to blow the whistle on that, so we're left out here in the rain. He's in there, incidentally, with Democratic gubernatorial candidate Shenna Bellows, who's also being endorsed by the Maine People's Alliance. Now, that doesn't mean Plattner's endorsing her, but I bet you now that he's the leading candidate, almost the only serious candidate in the Senate race, that all 5 of those Democratic candidates for governor would not mind Mr. Plattner's endorsement. Amanda and Brian, back to you.
All right, our Phil Hirschkorn live in Lewiston. Thank you, Phil.